Hi, this is Dr. Frank. First off, I hope that you and your families are doing well, and above all, staying home as our country goes through this time of crisis because of the COVID-19 virus. I wanted to talk a few minutes today about wearing masks, or should you wear a mask, or should you not wear a mask? It's been a bit controversial in the media this week. I know that in the beginning of this crisis, the government said initially we should not be wearing masks in public. That doesn't really help. Regular surgical masks do not prevent you from contracting this disease, and that we shouldn't be doing this. Recently this week they said, well, now you should. Now we should all wear some kind of covering over our mouths, whether it be a surgical mask or whether it be a bandana or a scarf, that will help you to not spread the virus to other people if you're asymptomatic and shedding the virus and you may not know that you're sick and you can still give it to other people. I think that makes sense. I do think that covering your mouth and wearing some kind of covering in public does help prevent the spread of the virus to other people. But it brings with it some problems, and I understand why the government initially told us not to wear these things. There was concern about touching your face and touching your face even more because you're wearing the mask. And I'll tell you, I was at Costco yesterday. I went out to get things, and I was waiting in line about 35 minutes to get into the store. And I was watching other people. I was actually very happy to see that about 99% of people did have some kind of covering on, either a surgical mask. Some people had N95 masks on. Some people just had bandanas and homemade masks. And I was glad to see that people did. But then I sat and watched people, and I noticed that people were touching their faces a lot. They were adjusting the mask. They'd be wearing a mask like this, having gloves on, and touch their face, try to adjust the mask. So I wanted to go over a couple of things. If you're going to use these things, the masks and the gloves, then you should have some proper technique to use them so that you don't increase the risk of yourself contracting the disease. So a lot of people have these. These are just plain paper surgical masks. And we actually issue these to patients when they come into my office. We give them, everybody has to sit in the waiting room with the mask on. And I see people put them on and just kind of let it sit there like this. Either it's too low, they do like this, or they do like this. What you have to do, most of these masks come with a thin metal wire in the top part, and you have to kind of mold it to the top of your nose here and make as tight of a seal as you can. Pull this down like this. I'm going to take it down now so that I can talk to you. But the tighter of a seal that you make with these things, the better it's going to work. Also, gloves like this, or even just plain kitchen gloves, once they're on and you've been touching things in the environment, the shopping cart, products at the store, once these things are on and you're touching things, these gloves are contaminated. They're dirty. You have to look at every surface that you touch and every person that you come into contact with as if they have it, or that surface is contaminated with the virus. So now you're carrying the virus on these gloves. You should not be touching your face, adjusting that mask. And there's a lot of temptation to, if you're not used to wearing these masks, you get an itch, you want to scratch your face. After you've been breathing into these masks for a while, they get a little damp underneath. You want to scratch, you want to adjust it. You have to fight that urge. You have to always keep your hands below your shoulders, never touch your face. You have to really get into that habit. And I think going through this crisis now, and we're all learning different new ways of hygiene, and you have to really learn to not touch your face. Another thing is, once these gloves are contaminated, and I watch people take them off, there's a tendency to kind of do like this and pull them by the fingers. That's the wrong thing to do. You have to kind of grip the edge here without touching your skin. Pull them off inside out like this. Grip the other glove. Pull the other one inside out. So now at least the contaminated surfaces are on the inside. And obviously you throw them out. I would still wash my hands with soap and water or with antibacterial gel after you take the gloves off, and that can help too. And remember, doing these things is not a substitute for social distancing. Wearing a mask does not make you invincible. You still have to stay away from people and stay home as much as you can. It's going to get bad out there, and stay at home as much as you can. But if you do need to go out, use these things, use these techniques to use them properly, and it'll help us all. Hope you're staying well. Stay home and stay tuned. We'll have more tips and more updates to come. Take care.